Hello and welcome to SATV's International Affairs and a special edition on international topics, international headlines and recent developments in worldwide. Today we have a very distinguished panelist. We have former Ambassador M. Shafiullah, who served Bangladesh Ministry of Foreign Affairs in different countries in different capacities and as ambassador as well, and we have our regular commentator, international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Panto. First, let me begin from Shamsul Alam Panto. What are the things you are going to pick in today's discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan, for having me here today. A warm welcome to Ambassador M. Shafiullah and good afternoon to our viewers. First of all, I will draw attention to Pope Leo XIV's inauguration Mass that has been held in St. Peter's Basilica, and on the sidelines of this Mass we've seen President Zelensky and VP Vance initiate a talk regarding the latest Russian offensive as a drone strike. We've seen that Donald Trump has tried to call a ceasefire, and a meeting in Turkey that was highly anticipated has failed. Apart from that, Israel has blatantly issued an operation called Gideon's Chariot in an attempt in a ground strike of the Gaza Strip, and not just that, this comes in that Israel is taking numerous steps against what they call our Hamas terrorists. However, we see as on social media that multiple civilian casualties are reported. Aside from this, ex-President Joe Biden, in a breaking news last night, we've seen that he's been diagnosed with a very degenerative form of prostate cancer. That's about all for
So there are so many issues to discuss. First, let us look at the India-Pakistan current issues. I have some developments. Deputy Prime Minister of Pakistan, Ishaq Dar, stated that the ceasefire with India remains in effect, emphasizing that there is no expiry to the agreement. He also mentioned that India did not inform Pakistan prior to recent military strikes. This is a kind of complaint, and Pakistani media is also highlighting airspace closure extended. Pakistan has decided to extend its airspace closure for India by another month, citing ongoing security concerns. And another news is in Pakistan highlighted that Pakistan's military warned India against weaponizing water resources, stating that any attempt to halt the flow of the Indus River would have serious consequences. So, three headlines I have picked from Pakistani media: Dawn, the Express Tribune and Geo News. Being a veteran ambassador of Bangladesh in different countries in different capacities as well, what are you understanding on this kind of media statements from the government side and from the military side, Professor Ambassador Shafiullah?
Thank you. In fact, India and Pakistan is talking on media, not direct, because of their long-standing hostile relation to each other. For years, we have seen that they have been talking to media in belligerent languages, because there is a mechanism between India and Bangladesh to resolve any dispute or to discuss any vital issue which are interest to both the countries. Simply, they don't have any mechanism. So, these are the things we have seen it. Now, the question is the extension of the ceasefire. It was American President who took initiative after 4 days that this escalation might go into bigger scale of war, including fear of using nuclear weapons, because both India and Pakistan are nuclear weapon countries. So, he asked both the countries to stop war and to go for ceasefire. In fact, the background of this, many countries including China, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, British government, they wanted that there should be ceasefire. There should be de-escalation of the conflict. So ultimately, both sides agreed and it was effective. But then India plate yesterday said that it will be renewed after a certain date. That's why the Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, he stated that there is no deadline for ceasefire, it will continue.
So, may I ask you a question? See, look at the Europe. A war is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Look at the Middle East. Israel is extensively attacking innocent people in Gaza. What President Donald Trump is doing for that two particular war, and why Donald Trump in a sudden morning made a call to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, stop this war, go for ceasefire. And they listened like a very obedient boy. Why, sir?
Because you see, India-Pakistan relation is one pattern, conflict also in one pattern. The Israeli-Palestinian issue is 80 years old. And the American and British, these are the two governments, two countries, successive governments of these two countries support Israel to the last ditch. And it is these two powers who created Israel in the Middle East on the land of Palestinians. So it is the foreign policy of British and the US are different from their foreign policy in the Asia subcontinent. See, that is the point. That's
so
they have a different set of foreign policy for different countries, different region. You may call it two faces, but the reality is these big countries, other powers, they have their foreign policy to
yes, sir.
Different region
I got what you want to say.
But I'm not defending any country.
Yeah, I understand. Let us get the attention of our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Panto. India has banned 16 Pakistani YouTube channels, including Geo News, one of the leading news media outlet in Pakistan, and Dawn News as well. Dawn is a leading newspaper, accusing them of spreading misinformation. But we know that India has gotten award as #1 fake news producer around the globe. What you gonna say about this? And I want to add one more thing. A US newspaper reported that Indian media amplified falsehoods during recent military tensions, including claims of striking Pakistani nuclear bases and downing fighter jets.
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan. First of all, not only that India has blocked various news outlets and vice versa in Pakistan, we've seen according to NDTV, businessman student guard, very odd jobs and very odd positions. Pakistan people, they were referred to as spies by the India administration, they were arrested. And not only that, last night Qatari television channel Al Jazeera has created a docu-series stating, has the Indian media become a pain to Narendra Modi's administration? Why they did that is because we can see the Indian media is overhyping incidences that definitely did or did not took place. So what happened is Pakistan and India are still at a war, but this time it does not require weapons. This time it's less of a firepower initiative. It's more towards the disinformation campaigns that each other are spreading. Of course, in India, various news outlets said that they have attacked the Noor Khan base, which apparently is the Pakistan Central Command for the nuclear assets. However, this has been disallowed by the Pakistan side. They said such an accident didn't take place. However, now the fighting between India and Pakistan are more on the media front, as we can ascertain that they are both trying to tarnish each other's image. Of course, to the Western powers, this is basically a border dispute to them. And in comparison, if you would look at the Israel-Gaza conflict, much of the Palestinian land or Gaza is by now decimated by the Israeli defense forces, and they also issued a ground offensive. Their target being Hamas. However, civilian casualties are reported. Mind you that the Pahalgam incident in India was also to quell terrorism in neighboring country Pakistan. So both of these offenses in both of the nations, or in all these four nations, share a common pattern. They are in the name of terrorism, one can conduct a strike on a sovereign country, and that is what precedents the war situation today.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have some other developments from Indian media outlets like the Indian Space Research Organization's ISRO's satellite mission carrying the Earth observation satellite EOS 109 failed after a malfunction in the second stage. The mission was intended to Earth observation from Sun synchronous and polar orbit. It is a very big news in Indian media today. Indian media is criticizing the capacity, ability and experiences of the ISROs, but we will discuss another headlines in India. India-Bangladesh trade tensions. They made it headlines like this: India-Bangladesh trade tensions. India has imposed restrictions on certain exports to Bangladesh in response to Dhaka's non-tariff barriers. Essential goods remain exempted from these restrictions. Sir, I want to ask you, last 10 months we have seen the relationship between Dhaka and New Delhi is going downgrading day by day. What Bangladesh has done, the people of Bangladesh has chosen their path according to democracy. The people of Bangladesh has ousted the fascist government from the position. The people of Bangladesh is moving into their own choice. What is the business of India within the internal democratic system of Bangladesh?
Right. The key issue is that the regime was ousted by the popular movement in Bangladesh, headed by young people, students and others. Now, what was the government? That was government. Whose purpose that government served? Bangladesh interest or Indian interest? It is very clear to the people of Bangladesh that just 15 years, the government, ousted government served Indian interest than that of Bangladesh interest. That's why movement took place and government is ousted. It would be natural for India to lose the puppet government in Bangladesh who served their interest. So obviously, India is very much upset, not upset, but aggressive towards Bangladesh because their vested interest was over.
Sir, do you believe that the young generation of Bangladesh, what we call Gen Z generation, will accept the influence, domination and power on Bangladesh from outside country? Because the behavior of India, especially in foreign policy, have let them lost their all neighboring countries, including Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Maldives, everyone, even China. Do you think the young generation will allow some external forces to influence Bangladesh's democracy?
Why you say only young generation? What about us?
Yeah, no one.
No one, none. None. Bangladesh came out of ashes, fire, war, and liberation of war. So this country is different from other countries of the world. So the situation around India is that out of 8 countries in the SAARC, India has problem with 7 countries. All the neighboring countries, they have created a problem, and only country in the neighborhood they fear is China, because other countries are very small. So the not only young generation of Bangladesh,
No one will accept
none
the
will
influence.
accept any domination, not only India or them, but any superpower even. They will not accept, because these people of Bangladesh, they fought natural calamities, they fought outside enemies, they came out of fire of liberation of war of 1971. So the spirit is quite different from other.
Sir, I'll come back to you.
It will not accept any domination, or any even domination of the political parties in Bangladesh who go wrong way. And
I'll come back to you with a very different kind of diplomatic move India has given. The 7-party delegations India is sending to outside countries, especially in Western countries, to justify their Operation Sindoor to Pakistan. We will discuss about that. Now let us go to our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Panto, who was following the Israel offensive operations in Gaza. The Israeli military has launched extensive ground operations, sir, I mean ground operations in Gaza, aiming to divide the enclave and displace populations. Gentlemen, some food aid will be allowed in after a 10-week blockade by Israel. My question is, what world medias, what world leaders, what United Nations are doing in this case, sir?
First of all, I would say that the leader of the Israeli government, he should be condemned in all types of communication between all types of leaders. First of all, the Gaza Strip and Gaza, various incidences in Gaza. We've seen an Indonesian hospital, a field hospital, being decimated by the bombardment by the IDF soldiers. Now, in this case, their plan is to destroy Gaza and destroy all kind of human life that reside there. Not only that, ever since March the 2nd, aid has been restricted or blockaded by the Israeli people, the soldiers, and there's a very big case of famine, likely chance of famine happening, as we see little children to elderly women, they're not being able to get enough adequate supply for human life. Not just that, the small children that are being injured and killed every day. This definitely calls for a mandate worldwide in a ceasefire that would see the betterment of the two-party state that we have seen over the last 8 decades. And not just that, Israel has proved to the world that they are very heinous. They do not have blood in their veins. In my opinion, Israel, they are settlers. They were settlers, and now they have made the Palestinian people into settlers. So this is a modern age genocidal killing. As we've seen, it's very highly comparable to the 1 and a 1.5 month time last July, August. We've seen is the same kind of traction that was here in Bangladesh, the genocide that took over 2,000 people's lives over here in our country and 50,000 casualties all over in Gaza. So the world leaders, including Pope Leo, who has taken his duty as the head of the Catholic Church, even he has said for an immediate ceasefire to the Gaza-Israel conflict. And I think that a certain degree of resolve should be here. Note that you said Israel has allowed minimum aid back into this Gaza. This is just, he's playing the banker to the poor, in my opinion, and this is not correct in
Sir,
all means.
As you said, Pope Leo XIV presided over the inaugural mass in the Vatican, attended by around 200,000 people and numerous world leaders. Very influential world leaders has joined there. He called for unity and addressed issues affecting the poor and to the environment. Would you please tell me what impact he will put on the climate change, environment, carbon issues, and poverty reduction from the world, as well as the war situation to go for peace?
First of all, Pope Leo, he's an American-backed Pope. Of course, he did serve as a cardinal before. Not just that, the Pope that left this planet, Pope Francis, he held massive influence over world affairs. Even though it's still very early for Pope Leo, of course, more or less by the end of the year we would understand how much of an influence Pope Leo has. Of course, Pope Leo's Mass welcomed almost every nation's leader in European Union across the 32 states of NATO as well. And I've mentioned before that President Zelensky and Vice President Vance finally met after their spat in the Oval Office.
Yep.
And not just that, the American side is finally understanding that Russia is not leaning towards ceasefire more, whereas they're leaning towards more violence. And this would definitely cause a destructuralization of the place. And not just that, across from Ukraine, the Poland national elections is taking place. So the environment is very well changing in the EU states. And not just that, once again, I would say that until the end of the year, we should watch how Pope Leo can implement his ordinances into the world affairs.
Yes, we'll be waiting. Sir, as I said before that India has dispatched 7 party delegations to various countries under Operation Sindoor, showcasing a united political front against global terrorism threats. What India is trying to prove to the West, what India is trying to get the attention on favor of Operation Sindoor?
See why India is sending. The question is why they are going to prove to the world that they are a victim. You see, victim of terrorism. And who is the terrorist? Is Pakistan. See, I just recall the event of 2003, Iraqi invasion by US and UK. Why? Because their intelligence report said that Iraq has weapon of mass destruction.
WMD.
And they invaded Iraq and that they destroyed the country. After that, they found that by IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, there is no chemical weapons or further matter any mass destructive water in Iraq.
I was witness. I was in the battlefield that time.
So this is the case. Now, this the gun holders kill some tourists in the occupied Indian Kashmir. Occupied Indian Kashmir is a military state. Because 5 lakhs Indian soldiers are there, plus other paramilitary organs. How a Pakistan terrorist can go there and then kill 26 tourists? See, question is why the Kashmiris revolted? Because their country is occupied. So they did it not to kill 26 people, but to draw world's attention that we are under occupation for 80 years and our life is at stake, our honor is at stake, our liberty is at stake, and we want liberty. They want world attention to this fact.
Sir, as per the report of World Bank, International Monetary Fund and CIA fact-finding reports that India is one of the country that take place more rape cases, bank robbery, violence, gunshots, everything happens in India, but no one says that India is also a terrorist country. Anyway, I will draw attention of our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Pantho. There is a development in Delhi elections. The Bharatiya Janata Party BJP has returned to power in Delhi after 27 years, winning 48 out of 76 in 2025 Legislative Assembly elections. Rekha Gupta has been appointed as the new Delhi Chief Minister. We know Rekha Gupta, she is one of the ultra-nationalist Hindu. She wanted to establish Hindutva in Delhi and she became the Chief Minister of Delhi. What we can expect from Delhi government?
Of course, the BJP should, now that they won their seat in Delhi, they should initiate communal harmony, which I can say as communal harmony, but from what I know deep down, that they are all followers of RSS sociology and the ideology of RSS. They promote their own cultural and religious facts while demeaning or rejecting other religious ideology. Anyhow, at this moment, the BJP has lost most of its popularity that it had over the last 15 years, especially due to this 4-day, or if you would say extended 2-week skirmish that they had with Pakistan. I'm sure that in the next general election in India, it will be much tough for BJP to get a majority vote. Definitely, they will have some of the states in India will definitely vote them into power. However, some other break-off states will take this into account that their economy has suffered for the better part of the last 2 weeks, and that will definitely take a toll on BJP's outcome.
Gentlemen, both of you are doing very good. We are trying to get connection from Islamabad with journalist Mateen Haidar. Now it is the time to go for a break. We'll be right back. Ukraine tensions escalate again. Russia has conducted one of its largest drone attacks on Ukraine, targeting a civilian bus and killing 9 innocent people. This comes ahead of a planned call between President Trump and Putin as the US pushes for a ceasefire. What do you want to say?
In fact, US President Donald Trump, he said before his election that he will end this war, Ukraine and Russia. To that effect, first thing he has initiated that there has been talk between Russia and Ukraine, leadership level. Then he said that the war will end only when American president, meaning himself, and the Russian president Putin meeting together. That will be a big successful end to this conflict. That is, he said this thing, and he is encouraging a meeting between the Russia and Ukraine first. Now, Russian side possibly that there could be an impending ceasefire. So before that, the last offensive, the offensive came in the drone attack, large number of drone attack on Ukraine. So this is the situation now. Under this situation, where there will be a summit level meeting between Russia and the USA, that we have to watch this thing. And mind you, as you mentioned, that during this oath taking of the Vatican, the Pope mentioned about not only mentioned Ukraine, but he met the US President, Vice President, and Ukrainian President met also there inside that of the meeting. So there could be a possible meeting between Russia and America. There is a hope for that, and unless that happens, this thing will continue.
Sir, you said there could be a possibility of meeting between Washington and Kremlin.
At the summit level.
But Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has given a different statement. He said Russia will itself decide when they will declare the end of the combat operation to Ukraine. It is not the United States. I will have a question, very direct question on to our international affairs correspondent, commentator. When US President Donald Trump pick up his phone to Narendra Modi says, yes sir, we are going to stop the war. When he pick up the call to Shahbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Pakistan, he said, yes sir, we are going to agree with the ceasefire proposal. Why Russian President or why Bibi, I mean Netanyahu of Israeli Prime Minister, they don't even care to the call, meetings, peace talks, dialogues, nothing from Washington. Do you think that Washington itself is engaged with this kind of war?
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan. One must understand the massive size that Russia holds. Russia spans all the way from Europe all to the end of Asia as well. So Russia is a massive country, massive, you can't even call it a country, some might even call it a continent. Anyhow, as per your question, Donald Trump does have kind of political sway. He is a former businessman now who is a politician. So definitely world leaders do look up to him. If it is definitely PM Sharif and Narendra Modi of India, definitely they do respect Donald Trump. Of course, there is much more for Pakistan and India to gain from the aid of Donald Trump than in comparison to Israel or Russia. Now, Israel and Russia probably think themselves as on par with the American Western ideology. Anyhow, America's contradictory policies, if you would like to say, they will sell you ammunitions and they will also promote global peace. Both are two contradictory factors. So in my opinion, America should definitely talk head to head with the Russian administration, with the Israeli administration, and to understand how to control this global narrative of war. Of course, this is not a good look for the world in general, as definitely in one point in the planet, if there war breaks out, definitely it has an adverse effect in all of the major global economies. A couple of years ago, I'll give you an example. the Bangladeshi taka was, in comparison to the dollar, was $1 was equals to 84 taka.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, due to various reasons, now $1 is equals to almost 130 taka. So, somewhere in the last 5 years, something has gone wrong. The US dollar, I know that everyone, almost all major economies does have a national reserve inside the American dollar reserve. So, one must think again the relations with the United States of America. Yep, that's about it.
Do you allow me to do a further question?
Sure.
From far behind, from Palestine, we are here in a very live talk show talking about the rights of the Palestinian people. What the Muslim countries in Middle East, especially Gulf countries under the leadership of Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Jordan, and other countries, they are not so concerned about the Palestinians' rights. Do you find any reason behind that?
Well, I mean, of course, if the entire world unites against the Israeli aggression, and definitely Palestine can stand back again. However, the Organization of Islamic Countries, the Islamic majority nations, they can boost over $1 trillion into the American budget. However, they can't help their Muslim brothers in Palestine. This is very a wrong notion in the world that's seeing today. As a proud Muslim myself, we should all come together in the aid of Palestine. And of course, our country, Bangladesh, has been doing so for the Palestinian people from day one of their struggle between Israel. And I would say most of the Middle Eastern countries, they are very resource rich, oil rich. Now they have branched into other economies in their own country. But they don't have any kind of appreciation or any kind of motive to help the Palestinian people. And if you look at history itself, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that there will be historic fighting in the lands of the Palestine Israelis. So, according to our Prophet, that is, we are seeing the prophecy 1400 years ago that was said, it is happening today. And no major Muslim nation is stepping in to help the ones that are affected this much.
This is very unfortunate for Muslims like us. I want to request Ambassador Shafiullah to add some more of his experience regarding this long 80-90 years conflict between Muslims and Jews.
Right. If I go back in 1948, the UN resolution came up at the behest of US and the British for to divide Palestine. And it was divided so 48% for the Palestine and 52% for the Israelis.
I mean, two-state solution.
To solution. Now, this came in the background of 1920, the Balfour Declaration, 2017, that they will have land for the Israelis on the Palestinian land. You see, mind that it is a Palestinian land, they agreed, but they will have Israeli settlement there. So, that basis. When 1948 resolution came, and then this was the dividing line. Now, in the history of the Jewish people, that was the first time they got recognition and got 48% of the land in Palestine. So, really they accepted the UN resolution, but Arab countries rejected the resolution. So, that what took place, and then the rest of the, most of the sizable land occupied by Israel. So, this was the starting point. Now, the 14th May 1948, the country was divided into two, but Arabs did not accept it. Israel accepted it because for the first time in their ancient history, known history, they got a land and a country. See?
Sir, I have some other global headlines. Let me read it out, then we'll come back to Indian media headlines.
If you say something on more, I can add one line on.
Yeah.
You said why Gulf countries or the rich countries are supporting, not supporting the Palestinians. The country you see, the Gulf rich countries were very poor. I mean, 48 or 49, 50. But the stock of the world, oil, gas, the 70s became super rich. And they are rich because the Western countries, the technology and their salesmanship, they provide riches to the Arab countries. You see, now the Gulf states, richest in the world now, they don't have any control over their resources. it's then resource controlled by Western countries.
Western countries, especially America.
Their treasure money is with the bank of those countries, investment in those countries. So you see, this is the position. Now you see the recent visit of Trump to Middle East. I don't name the name of the countries, but I say one country bought $140 billion weapons from America. Another country $145 billion weapons from the America.
$142 billion, Saudi Arabia.
Billion. I don't name any country, but you see it happened. And there and one country also agreed to invest some $1 trillion in the America. So because the resource is there, or they are not in their banks or in their hand, it is in the hand of the Western countries. So with this weapon, whom they will fight. And not only this time, the previous regime of Trump, he sold $1 billion, but those were not know.
Yeah, I understand. Shamsul Alam Panto, as you are saying that Donald Trump was a businessman, a businessman turns into a politician. Now he is saving the shoulder of Americans by his salesmanship.
You see, he's not going for war, he's selling weapons.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is saving the Americans' economy by his salesman's expertise. I want to draw your attention on UK-EU relations reset. The British media, Sunday Times has and Guardian says that it's a reset relationship. The UK and the EU have reportedly reached a late-night breakthrough negotiations aimed at resetting relations post-Brexit. Very technical words, focusing on trade, defense and regulatory alignment. That means UK is coming back with the relationship with EU countries to restart the business, jobs and economy resetting. How do you see this reunion of Europe?
Thank you, Mr. Kanchan. First of all, when they first initiated Brexit, what that happened was it created a distinctive barrier between the United Kingdom and Europe. And not just that, now they understand that the alliance in the European countries are quite so strong in the region. And definitely they don't want to be left out, I would say. And that's probably one of the driving factors for them to initiate a talk again. Mind you that the government inside UK has changed over the last couple of years. And also the monarchy has changed as well. We see Prince, now is King Charles.
Prince Charles, yeah.
Now it's King Charles. So anyhow, he does seem to me as someone who wants to maintain ties and relationship with other monarchies and leaders of the world. Right. Definitely one must take into account the international exchange rates. You've seen the sterling dollar, you see the Qatari rial, you see also failure currencies which such as an example, $1 equals to a million rupiah in Indonesia. Anyhow, the EU and the UK relations should once again be strengthened because of the giant that Russia is. And the entire Europe is scared that what if Russia escalates even further behind Ukraine and starts attacking the EU nations in a whole. So that would definitely cause a World War III incident. So before such an incident take place, the UK administration is taking a definitive stance that we are with the European Union and we will conduct our business likewise.
Very well said. Before I go to Ambassador Shafiullah, I have a news that a bombing, very pathetic news I should say, a bombing outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California is being investigated as an act of terrorism. One person was killed and 4 others were injured in the explosion. CBS News from Canada has break that news. My question is, in America, severe tornadoes have ripped through central US states including Kentucky and Missouri, resulting at least 25 deaths and significant property damages. I just want to draw your attention in such a way that America is looking after the interest and rights of the entire planet's people, but what they are not doing, controlling their internal violence, gun violence, job creations and what they are doing. You know, in a small tornado, 25 people gone.
No, is that first thing out Canada? It happened in Canada?
No, it's in Central America.
Gun.
Yeah.
It's a big lobby, gun lobby in America, with both sides of the politics, Democrat and Republican. They are helpless because it is such a strong gun lobby. They can't stop it. They have to sell gun, and many presidents tried before, and they became victim of the gun lobby. So American people, maybe historical reason, because maybe it is within their conscience that they killed the Red Indians and occupied their country, and that's how the America conquered their own, the Red Indians. So every American is armed. Why? It's a democratic country. It's a free press, free judiciary. Why every American strong security force in the country and no war? America did not fight any war in their own country. Why every Americans are armed, and on the anniversaries or on the birthdays, the gun, they give a packet open and you'll find the gun there. So it is the culture, because part of the culture of American life. So I think it is out of their complex, out of their inherent insecurity, they could not stop gun making or gun selling, and everybody carries a gun. So when the guns are in the wrong hand, violence happen, and it is happening.
So
and
thank you very much.
Nobody can stop it, because both the parties ultimately they want vote, and they don't want to antagonize the largest powerful gun lobby in the US. It is again cost of the politics.
I just want to come at our national few issues which our international affairs commentator was observing, and he says that we should also touch some of the top issues in Bangladesh. Sir, what are you going to say about the Bangladesh issues?
Actually, I've got only two major incidences that are actually currently running. Today would be the 5th day of protest at the Nagar Bhavan. This is due to the claim of instating Mr. Ishraq Hussain as mayor. You do realize Dhaka is a city of millions of people, and what this continuous running of protest it does is it cripples the economy to a certain extent that it will be much harder for Bangladesh to come back to a better standing. And not just that, last night we've seen the arrest or the detainment of popular actress Nusrat Faria in a connection to accused murder case last July and August. Of course, by now the top headlines was that the cultural affairs advisor Mustafa Sarwar Farooqi has already called this arrest very embarrassing. So I would like to get, of course I am an international affairs commentator, but definitely that does not mean I cannot comment on the local affairs.
No, sure, you can.
So these are the two top discerning issues that are definitely leaving everyone surprised, I would say, in Bangladesh currently.
Thank you, Shamsul Alam Pantho, our international affairs commentator. Thank you, distinguished ambassador, His Excellency Shafiullah. Before I conclude, I would like to say today is 19th May, International Fair Play Day. The day is observing due to introduce the fairness, the relationship between the counterparts, and United Nations has declared it officially to maintain this day. And before I conclude, I would like to say happy birthday to two world leaders who have changed the world in different aspects. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, founder of Turkey, and Ho Chi Minh, the founder of Vietnam, two very rich nations. Happy birthday to you, and we wish you all the best. See you tomorrow.